What's so bad about pornography if nobody's getting hurt in the process?
Well, I can speak from experience because I had all the stuff throughout high school. I mean, my high school was everywhere. One guy in my high school passed out pornography from his locker to anyone who would vote for him as senior class vice president. Now, I don't know if he's a politician today or not, but it was everywhere, and the common thing is we just blow it off. You know, I'm not getting anyone pregnant. I'm not passing around diseases. They're willing to pose for the magazines. I'm willing to look at it. You know, it's a good arrangement for everybody. And what ends up happening is it emasculates a man. It basically trains him to look at a woman as a collection of body parts. And it teaches a guy that you can judge the value of a woman by how much lust you feel for her. If I don't lust after her, she's not worth a lot. If I really lust after her, wow, there's a woman. And we end up becoming shallower and shallower. And we laugh it off and say, well, she's willing to be in the porn. What's the big deal? But you don't realize the majority of women in the pornographic industry were sexually abused as little girls and as adult women as well. You know, Pamela Anderson, when she posed for Playboy magazine, her first Playboy shoot, she was crying before the shot. And then she pulled herself together and they fixed up her makeup and they took the nude photos. So when we're looking at these women, we've got to understand these are someone's sisters. This is somebody's daughter and probably sexually abused as a little girl. And we would just laugh it off and call ourselves gentlemen for appreciating it. And what happens to the guy is when you look at porn, the pleasure center of a man's brain is called your medial preoptic nucleus. If you take cocaine, this part of the brain is influenced, but if they found during sexual arousal, this part of the brain is rewarded. And what it causes what's known as a trained response. They've learned of Pavlov's dog in psychology class. The guy rings a bell, feeds the dog, and the dog begins to associate the sound of the bell with food. So eventually, all he has to do is ring a bell and the dog will start salivating because he knows the sound means food is coming. It's called a trained response. They found out the same thing works with a man's brain, and the pleasure center is one of the most easily trained parts. So they found out when a guy looks at the porn, he actually trains his brain to expect his future wife to live up to all these impossibly perfect fantasies. God gave you a clean slate of an imagination on which to impress the beauty of your wife and her alone. Yet we have stamped on it so many images of other women, and you look at these other girls in porn, 15 seconds, and you're bored with her. Look at the next girl, 30 seconds, bored, next, 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 next. These are the most beautiful bodies on earth, and we're being trained to become bored with them in less than a minute flat. And you do that for a couple years, and you marry a woman, and you really expect that her body's going to captivate you until death do you part. It doesn't happen. Men start bringing pornography into the bedroom. I know of so many divorces that have happened. Women write me emails, letters. And one woman I met, she just got divorced with her husband, and she said he's moved out, the kids are emotionally destroyed, and she said she was picking up the mattress the other day to change the sheets, and she said there under her bed was his stack of pornographic Maxim men's magazines. And she said all these years of being in bed with him, was he making love to me, or was he using my body to make love to them? And while at that moment, very act of sex, when he's supposed to be renewing his marriage covenant with his wife, he's mentally committing adultery with her. And you can understand how this just destroys intimacy within marriage. And I know from experience that you look at the pictures for like 5 seconds, and then it just takes years and years to forget the images that are just burned into your brain. And so when it comes to the porn, we like to hide behind this thing of, oh, nobody's getting hurt, and I'm just being a gentleman. You look at porn clubs, like strip clubs, a gentleman's club. You know, can you think of any place on earth where a gentleman needs a neon sign to tell you that he is one? No, it doesn't have. Actions speak for themselves. You know, adult, I'm adult. This is an adult bookstore. I'm an adult. This is why I'm going in here. Adults don't need signs to say they're adults. They just act like them. And so they put all these facades up. I need to be a gentleman. Because no matter how far we fall, we always want to identify what's really manly, what's masculine. But the problem is the porn just emasculates us. It emasculates us. It just robs us of the ability to truly love a woman for who she is. Not just a collection of body parts, for her personality. Because the porn teaches us personality doesn't matter, intelligence doesn't matter, her body matters. And when you go into a marriage like this, it's over from the start. My friend got married, addicted to porn. He was divorced in 3 months. And people say, well, you're just being extremist. I mean, if people agree to do it, it's just recreation. But the problem is, don't we want sex to be a big deal? Shouldn't it be something beautiful? And when we reduce her to just a thing, it's like she's a prostitute. In fact, that's what the word pornography means. Pornographia, the writing or the drawing of the prostitutes. And is this how you want someone to look at your daughter? Is this how you want someone to look at your sister, your mother? Then why would we look at other women this way? And I understand how addicting the behavior can be, but it can be overcome, especially through the sacraments and through prayer.